Hi, I'm Lacey Hartman. Thanks for taking the time to hang out for a moment. My husband and I, we pastor Rock Hills Church in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. And I just wanted to take a moment to share with you what we're learning in the midst of crazy location changes when you're church planting. Man, this journey of church planting is as much about the people that are unconnected that God has chosen you to reach as it is His plan to grow your faith and my faith in the process. One of the biggest ways God is building my trust and faith right now is through our location. I mean, everybody tells you in church planting, location, 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 right? Well, we're in a smaller city, and really the only two options we had before we launched our church was the Boys and Girls Club or the local movie theater. And the Boys and Girls Club ended up giving us our first contract. And just a little side note, when you're working on your contracts, your leases, if it's a good location, if there's room for growth, get as much time as you can, okay? Because time flies at the speed of light in church planting. So if you have a year lease, about month 6, you want to start the process of renegotiating your next lease, or to see if you can get an extension on your lease if there's room to grow in that facility. But anyhow, so 6 months in, we start renegotiating with the club, and they were no longer interested in, going past a year. So we thought, we've got 6 months. We started looking at other options, and lo and behold, the only other option that was going to work was the local movie theater. But they were in the middle of a buyout, which is amazing, just amazing timing. And so literally it took about 6 months before we got a contract with them. So just in the waiting, the Lord told us that summer, He said, you're going to the theater. But then months and months go by. There's no movement. And I don't know about you, but those moments, it's hard. It's hard to stay faithful, but that's the best thing we can do. We kept looking for other locations, kept getting no's on maybe potentials. And so really it was only the theater that was the option. So we asked the club, hey, can you extend our lease as we wait on AMC to finish buying out our theater? So they gave us 2 extensions, and then I'll never forget reading the contract where they said, there will be no more extensions. So we've given you grace, but we want you out of this building. So we had 2 weeks left on our extension with nowhere to go. Then finally, on a Sunday afternoon, AMC called us and said they'd do a contract with us. And that was a huge win. We were so excited. So we go to AMC, fast forward several months, now we're renegotiating with them. We get to sign an 18-month lease, which in church planning time is like 10 years. I mean, this huge weight was lifted from our shoulders of we don't have to worry about location for 18 months. And then, no joke, a couple weeks after we signed this extended lease, we get a voicemail on our day off, and they tell us they're closing our theater. I mean, it was this moment of, for real, for one, you left a voicemail, that's amazing, and then 2, we just signed an 18-month contract. And I don't know about you, but it always seems like people die or really bad things happen on your day off. And so we get this voicemail, we know they're closing, and in our contract, we had a 60-day clause, so we had 60 days to do something different. So no joke, my husband and I, because we're so cool, literally high-fived in our kitchen, and we said, okay, God's got us. And then we prayed. And I know it seems silly to kind of remind us in those moments when obstacles come, but we can sometimes turn on that strategic part of our brain or the leadership gift that God's given us, and we go into fix-it mode. But we have got to pray first so that we hear from the voice of God. What does He want us to do? So second thing we did after we prayed was we called our lawyer. Now, if you don't have a lawyer in your church that you trust, you need to talk to your network, talk to your district, because no doubt they have one, and you need to have a lawyer to help sort through the legalese in your contracts, unless that's in your background, but it's not in ours. So we talked to our lawyer. The next step we took was we called our realtor. Again, this is probably you're already doing this, but if you don't have a realtor, you need to find one. Connect with them consistently. We meet with ours about once a month, even though we're not looking for a location at the time. We just never know when an opportunity may come up and when you'll need a realtor. So you want to be as prepared as you can when obstacles or opportunities come your way. So in the next 60 days, God opened the door for AMC to agree to a month-to-month lease with us with a 30-day clause. That's all they would give us, while they try to sell this building for $3.9 million. And they gave us the first right of refusal. So in the meantime, we asked them to give us the building. On a phone call, we were on speakerphone. We said, you're the largest movie theater company in the world. Why don't you just give us the building? And they paused and thought, you could just see, hear it in the pause, and then they kind of laughed and were like, are you serious? And no, we're not giving you the building. So that was awesome, but tried to have big faith. So we talked to a couple banks, we looked at our finances, and we personally didn't think we were at a place where we wanted to be permanent, and there's so much health in being portable, but we were able to secure a loan. And we got a $1.5 million loan, which for a less than 3-year-old church was a miracle in itself. Now, mind you, they wanted 3.9, but we made a 1.5 offer. We had big faith. We thought we're going to have one of those cool stories. This is going to be the bow on this chaos of the last 60 days. But they said no. So honestly, after we made that offer and they said no, it put us in limbo. We felt stuck. We felt hurt. A little abandoned, to be honest, kind of this paralyzed feeling. And we didn't know what do we do? Do we rent month to month, knowing that any Sunday, we only have 4 more Sundays? Do we try to go back to the club and just do some more services there? There just weren't many options. We felt stuck, and I'm sure you've had similar moments. So here's what we are learning in the midst of our gap, in the midst of wondering what God's doing. And hopefully this is a helpful reminder for you. First thing to remember why you're in your community. Why did God choose you to start this fresh expression of the gospel? Remember the why. And remember, this is God's dream. It's not yours. And as much as it's so kind that he allows us to be part of his story, it's his story. So he's got you. It's his dream. Another reminder that is probably kind of silly to even tell us, but ask for help. There are people who have slayed the dragon you are facing, and they can give you wisdom. That's why CMN, that's why building relationships with our pastors and leaders is so important, because too often we don't ask for help because we feel like others will think, we don't know what we're doing, or that we've somehow failed because we don't have all the answers. But truth is, really, none of us know what we're doing, but it is God in his gracious kindness that gives us wisdom. So put yourself in a position to listen, okay? Now, this is practical, all right? Do what you know to do. It always comes back to that. So right now, we're in AMC full-time. We're semi-permanent. We still have all of our portable equipment, but since they're closed, we can leave all of our equipment up. So in our lobby, because it's a 30-year-old theater, there are these awesome neon lights in this wave pattern all along the lobby. And then there's these huge mirrors that separate each wave pattern of neon lights. Really fabulous. The bathrooms are a lovely yellow color with tile that likely has never been cleaned. And at this point, even cleaning it doesn't really help. The carpet, oh man. If you need some carpet, it's orange, maroon, green, purple swirls. And then there's the fact that it's an old movie theater that doesn't serve popcorn anymore, so it smells like 30-year-old popcorn. So we felt stuck. We don't own the building. What do we do? But it's like then the fog was lifted, and God just reminded us, do the best you can with what you have. This building is a gift, and we will treat it with care. And this opportunity to be semi-permanent with a huge marquee on the lawn that used to, tell what movies we're showing. 20,000 cars pass by it consistently. It's sitting on 9 acres. We believe 9 acres of hope. And so there's a dating process when you're leasing. Your landlord, your owner, likely they want to know they can trust you before they give you permission to make changes. And so we were in that dating process, but then when we thought, man, we need to do what we know to do, we asked AMC, can we take down the neon? Can we paint the lobby? Can we build a nursery where the arcade used to be? And they said yes. So we painted, we built the nursery, we put live feed video cameras in each kids' theater, we built permanent kids check-in, we spray Febreze. We should have, access to stock in Febreze, how much Febreze we spray every week. But in each row of our auditorium between each service, just to help it smell good, We invested in commercial grade air fresheners for the lobby. We bought nice, bright, white paper towel holders, soap dispensers, toilet bowl inserts that help the bathroom smell better. And I know that these things kind of seem silly maybe, but those things are so helpful, and they weren't in our regular budget. I mean, we weren't planning on being semi-permanent. We didn't plan on buying paper towels. That's something that the owner provides. We weren't planning on buying cleaning supplies, but that is why in your budget, you should be saving and living on 90 to 95% of the previous year's income. Since we started, we've tried to kind of do that range of 90 to 95. So when this opportunity came up, instead of calling it an obstacle, we had some cash to do what we know to do. And can I tell you that even though it is lipstick on a pig, people appreciate that we are not satisfied with the status quo. And we are going to do the best we can with what God has given us. And ultimately, we're modeling faith. We are still month to month in this theater. I wish I had a bow to tie on this story that God's given us the building. AMC called and said, you can have it for free, and we're going to throw in $1 million. But we're still praying for miracles. We're still trying to build a culture of generosity into a very young church. We're talking to leaders. We're talking to businesses who help churches and leaders raise money. We're looking at our options. But in the meantime, we are learning in this season, knowing there's not a plan B, that summer in 2016 when he said, you're going to go to the theater, that's the last time he said where we were going. And so we're not going to go anywhere else in the community until he provides another option. So it kind of feels like when Abraham took Isaac to the altar, and our location is Isaac. And we're saying, here we are, God, but we know you have a ram on the other side. So I encourage you, just keep trusting God. He will accelerate you when the time is right.